Coming up next on All About Android, it's me, Jason Howell. We've got Ron Richardson, Win Twit Dow. Rishi returns. Great to have Win back. I give you my review of the Pixel 7a, the mid-tier device that just came out from Google a couple of weeks ago. I definitely have thoughts, so you won't want to miss that. Also, we talk about Android's recent feature drop that happened last week. The Motorola Razr Plus. Is it Moto Razr Plus or Motorola Razr Plus? Regardless, we think it's very nice. We play with the generative AI for Google Search, which is a lot of fun. Assistant, killing more features, your feedback, and so much more next on All About Android.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is All About Android, episode 633, recorded Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. Pixel 7a review. Thank you for listening. As an ad-supported network, we are always looking for new partners with products and services that will benefit our audience. 99% of our audience listens to most or all of our episodes, so grow your brand with authentic ad reads that always resonate with our audience. Reach out to advertise at twit.tv and launch your campaign now. Hello and welcome to All About Android, your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
And I'm Ron Richards.
And I'm Win Twit Dow.
And on today's show, we are going to do nothing but talk about Apple's new headset. Are you ready? Let's go. It's all Apple VR or AR or whatever they're calling it all the time. Yes, that right there.
Don't even put it up. Don't even put it up on the video. Don't get me started on those the overpriced ski goggles that I was saying in our chat during the WWDC presentation that the whole presentation felt like a SNL sketch. It was just filled with gibberish and like I had a hard time taking it seriously. But
$3,500 doesn't even. I think overpriced is underselling it.
Overpriced is underselling it.
Yeah.
Possibly quite literally. If it's too expensive, then it won't sell.
Yes.
So, yeah. I'm curious to see how this whole thing goes, but I still need to know more. Every year WWDC happens, and I realize like we talk about all kinds of tech on this network, but I'm so focused on Google and Android that WWDC happens, and so occasionally I'll drop in and I'll watch, as it's happening to just kind of understand and know what it's all about. But I'll be honest, yesterday I was at the dentist during WWDC.
Jason, do you want to know what was so fun? What was so funny, Jason, was that I actually had a call with Renee Ritchie yesterday, and it was like right before the presentation, and one of my staff who also follows and stuff like that was like, "Oh, weird that we're talking to Renee on WWDC day. I think he'd be all over that." And turns out on the call, he's like, "Yeah, it's the first time since 2009 he wasn't there." So it was, that was pretty funny. But very much the same. I do have to say though, for the Android of it all, as I was watching the rollout of whatever it's called, the Apple Vision, whatever it is, I was like, oh. Fabric elements on the visor. Where have I seen that before, Daydream? Once again, there's always a little bit of Android there in the Apple presentation.
And Ron, that's just Apple design. That is just classic. High standard, the superiority. I'm sorry, I don't. Sorry, someone take this chip off my shoulder. I'm sorry.
Did Google get out of VR too soon? Because if they were still in VR, would they be, I don't know. Would they be on the same wavelength as what Apple is doing here? I don't even know what Apple is doing here, to be honest. I don't know what this is going to turn into, but anyways, gotta at least get that in there on the week of WWDC and Apple unveiling a major new product that is very untested at this point. You got to mention it at least once off the top of the show, even on an Android show. There, we've done it. Yeah. So, given that we have that out of the way, let's talk about features. Android features. We're going to jump into the news a little bit later. I've got a review of the Pixel 7a. So a completely different type of hardware coming from Google, not hardware that you wear on your face. But before we do that, we have to talk a little bit about the news, and that's coming up right now.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm glad to bring back my old templates for VR and stuff. So seeing what this show looks like in VR.
Oh, that's
supposed to be the view. Yeah.
So okay, so can you do like I want to dissect this and see is this a resized screen that you're watching the Android news bumper on? You've done whatever you do with your hands to like resize it to be large while you're sitting in the studio. Is that kind of the thought?
And like, you know, when it's in like another room and stuff like that, or when you see pass through. Yeah.
Wow, I like that.
For our audio viewers, there was a video view of the Android news bumper within a VR view
of the studio. So it's almost like you're watching our show while wearing VR goggles. Almost exactly the same thing. Yep. Good work, Victor.
Yeah, I mean, we had that for, you know, Daydream and all that stuff, and you know, that went somewhere, right? But
yeah, well, it went into the garbage.
I'm glad I didn't throw it away. I'm glad I didn't throw away.
There you go.
I mean, even my VR viewer that's made of cardboard, I didn't throw that away. I still have.
Oh
that.
no,
and it's made of cardboard. It could have been recycled easily, but no, I didn't do that. I still have it. You can't use it though anymore, right? Like I think the app that even drove those things, I don't think that you can really use it anymore, right? I know the Daydream.
I think they shut it down, right?
Yeah, I think it's all shut down. So, Anywho, okay. So when you've got the top news story, which let me tell you, these are some features that we got to shut things down and talk about this right now. They're so major.
Like, you know what? Apple's not the only one who can drop life-changing features this week. Okay, we got some stuff for you. And it's stuff, and some of it's nice. All of it's nice. It might change your life, it might not. Sure. But we're kind of used to getting Pixel feature drops, but this is one of those more generic kind of like Google features on Android drops. Google drops, Android drops. So these aren't features that are specific to Google. Here's just a laundry list of like app updates, Google things, third-party things that are kind of cool. Or pretty dang cool. Sorry, pretty dang cool. I got to sell it a little bit better so we can.
or somewhat cool. Or cool-ish. Or
cool-ish. Lukewarm?
No,
they're nice.
Yeah, they're nicer than lukewarm. They're nice. They're nicer than
lukewarm. Well, I mean, if you are a parent who has a kid that is learning to read and you want to give them a little bit of Google help with their reading, there is now reading practice as a part of the Google Books application. So reading practice is pretty interesting. It's a number set of features that I think is meant to meant for you and your child to help reading. So they have things like tracking reading positions, where as you all are reading, it will highlight the text and kind of show you where the places are. If your child gets stuck on a word, you can actually click on that word and hear it like out loud. And not only that, you can hear it broken down by syllable so that, kids can like get help sounding it out. And, you can hear sentences for each word to kind of give more context and help kids learn what words are. And like, just all kinds of stuff, and just generally trying to keep like reading sessions like, saved on your Google Books so you can come back to them. And yeah, there's even like, I'm not exactly sure how it works, but there is also practicing challenging words where there's a little mic functionality. I don't know how this works, but it is supposed to help kids like practice a difficult word that they come across in their reading. So to get started with reading practice, you can check out the collection of kid-friendly books on Google Play Books. There are some no charge options, but that implies maybe there are some charge options. And there's also kind of like a wide collection of thousands of others English language books that practice can be enabled on. So yeah, that's, I mean, like this is genuinely like a really nice set of features, for you to practice reading with your kids on your Android enabled Android tablets. So, to go along with kind of like, enhancing tablets, not just tablets, but phone screens, there are 3 new widgets from, Google Finance, Google TV, and Google News. These kind of seem like really, adding on things. I mean, obviously the Pixel tablet is there, but these are basically, new, visually upgraded, nice widgets that will give you suggestions from Google TV, stock tracking from Google Finance, and just daily curated headlines from Google News. So just kind of like new and improved widgets, presumably, super handy for your Google home display, whatever flavor that might be. In third-party arenas, if you have Wear OS and you're a Spotify user, you are in luck because they have released new tiles and watch face shortcuts. So you can tap on your wrist to activate Spotify DJ for a personal mix of your favorite music. You can stream your favorite podcasts, and you can also from a shortcut, you can also play your current favorite frequently listened to tunes. So again, for Spotify users, a bunch of new functionality on your Wear OS devices. Let's see. For Wear OS, also there is Google Keep. Actually, I skipped one. Sorry. So actually, there's a lot of Wear OS news. So for my hometown friends in the DMV, in the DC area, as well as in the Bay Area, you can now use your Wear OS smartwatches to tap and pay via its Google Wallet integration. So just if you got that Wear OS, you're going through the turnstile, boop, you can
That's
just
nice.
Yeah. I mean, is Google Play via phone already? I mean, it's been a while since I've commuted via public transit, but presumably phones already. This seems like phones already enabled, but now
doing this on your watch, doing this
on your watch. So so there you go. And also, if you're a Google Keep user, Wear OS has a new tile for you. So if you have some pinned note like your shopping list, you can easily swipe through your tiles and get to that shopping list while you're on the go. And if you haven't heard of Emoji Kitchen, you should use it. It's dang crazy and dang awesome. And there's new recipes in the Emoji Kitchen, which are basically these sticker mashups of various emojis. And there's a bunch of aquatic themed one. You too. I use it all the time. They get really frightening sometimes, a little bit Cronenberg-esque, but it's still fun. So if you are someone who likes sharks and dolphins, but have been missing your shark and dolphin mashups in your Emoji Kitchen, you got that. And finally, and a little more seriously, if you are a Google One user, you can now pull up a dark web report on either the app or the website, and this allows you to scan for your Gmail address on the dark web.
This is, by the way, this is like, they're not I have several services that have offered dark web like scanning, and it is just the concept horrifies me. It's like it's akin to going to a doctor and getting my hearing tested. Like I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I just don't want to know.
No, you know what I think about dark web testing? It's let me plug this in and not see if my email address is out there on the dark web somewhere. It's let me see all the places that it's out there. Like, how is our email address not everywhere at this point? You know what I mean? Like,
oh man.
I have some identity protection services. I think I probably got them free from some kind of security leak from some years ago, and it does do that too. But this is through Google One, so
right.
If that's something that worries you, or you want to go ahead and be like Jason and be brave and see what is actually happening on the dark web, you have it via Google One.
Yeah.
And there's your.
What's creepy is I just went to the Google One website to set it up just because now I'm curious, and you can put in it's like asking for your social security number. Which is like,
go ahead, trust us.
Yeah,
we're Google.
Yeah, I know. And when you click to add it, it says, "What does Google One do with it? What does it impact your credit score? Like all this sort of stuff." But it's like, but then if that info's out there, what can I really do about it? I don't know. But it is neat that you can add. It scans for the email address that you're set up for. But you can add 9 more, so you can have 10 total email addresses. So if you're like me, where you've got 19 or 10 emails out there, you might want to monitor more. I don't think I'm going to do the social security number for right now. I think that's just a bridge too far.
Yeah.
Right? I guess you just ask yourself, do you trust? I'm looking at that right now. Do you trust Google with that information?
I mean, I guess, right? I mean, I trust them with everything else.
Well, I mean, that was going to be my point. Like, what does Google not have about me at this point? Like,
it's like borderline sunk costs. Like, well, I'm all like in for a penny, is it in for a penny, in for a pound?
Right.
What is it?
In for a
like
penny,
that?
in for a pound. Yep.
Yeah, like that. Because that's more sorry.
Well, here's something even more creepier is that I said, fine, I'll do it. And so it says confirm your social security number.
It says on file.
Name and address,
no.
and then it says on file. So they already have it. So
totally. I just noticed that too. I'm like, I can't enter it in here. Oh, right. Because they already have it. They don't need it. It's cool.
It. Yeah.
We've scanned your email and found it hiding somewhere in your 500,000 emails that we're archiving for you.
So
you messed up one time, and now we know your social security number. Okay, verification successful. I am now getting this, whatever it is.
I'm doing the same thing. Yeah, I know.
It only takes a few seconds. It tells me 57 data breaches leaked my info on the dark web.
I'm doing it now. 55 data breaches.
Oh, I win. I'm less secure than
only
you.
Only one result on my social security number, which is nice, and it's T-Mobile. T-Mobile, cool. So.
All right, I'm doing it. I'm doing it too.
0 for me. Zero social security number. Heck of a lot of email. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So this is. Oh, I see. Result. Other info was found on the dark web alongside. Okay, so sorry. There's two different places where it does the social security number. One of them said 0 results. Now I scrolled down and I saw 1 result. And that also was, oh no, payday loan apps. What is that about? Uh-oh. Yeah, what is that? I don't even understand. That's so, none of this information is me.
It told me it didn't have my SSN, but it found my SSN something. That poop.
This is a rabbit hole that
we've decided to end this show early. We've got some remediation to do, and so I hope you'll understand that our podcast is only 15 minutes today. We got some.
All my info is in a 180 million cell phone leak. What is that? What was that? What does 180 million cell phone leak mean?
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. What is that? 180 million. What is that?
It looks like 180 million of information leaked.
Great.
Oh my goodness.
This is fun times.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and leave this tab open. Set it to the side.
Maybe we
for
do
now.
that later. Maybe we do. Well, actually, this is an interesting segue to the next story, right? Are we ready to talk about this?
Yeah.
So, Google announced this quarterly Android feature drop last week, right? We always love a good Android feature drop, and a lot of it. Wait, that's the last story. Sorry about that. But speaking of Google Wallet in there, a big feature is rolling out this month, which is support for digital IDs coming to states that support them. So, for example, Maryland can use it right now, and that's been supported on iOS for a while. Arizona, Colorado, and Georgia are coming soon. And basically, the IDs are stored on a device, but can be managed via myaccount.google.com if you lose your phone. So, if your state has a digital ID, you'll be able to add that to your Google Wallet or whatever it's called these days, GPay. G Wallet, whatever it is.
Yeah, what even is it anymore? Google Wallet. Sure.
Also coming to Google Wallet, the ability to scan a photo of a previously unsupported pass card with a barcode for future use. So, for example, if your gym has a barcode, but it's not currently in Google Wallet, you can take a picture of it and you can store it within your Google Wallet. It doesn't need to be like on board with Google. It can store health insurance cards and other private passes that are protected with biometrics or a PIN, which is very handy because my insurance card is beat the hell in my wallet. So that would be nice. And you could save passes from messages directly to Wallet. And save company ID and access badges to Wallet, which is pretty cool. I mean, if I could get all this stuff that are in cards all in my Google Wallet, like I'm loving putting my boarding passes in there, like all that sort of stuff. It's getting a little more feasible or valuable as an app on my phone. I'm already using it to pay for things at not just Walgreens anymore, but I do it at the supermarket. I do it, Bank of America at the ATM. I just put my phone up to the ATM and it does my card. And so I like it. It's coming together. So yeah, I dig it.
I do too. I don't know at what point I will ever feel comfortable just leaving my wallet, my actual wallet at home, but I think my thinking around that, like that was always my criticism. Like, well, I'm never going to be so confident that everything's in here that I'm going to leave my wallet at home. Maybe I still carry my wallet. I just don't have to pull it out 90% of the time. And that would be nice too. So it's like
I'm really anxious for this. Colorado has their own system of like that has like a web view or web kind of like like a mobile web page in an app. So good to provide you your state ID, whether that's licensed or not. But it renders but it's really bad. And also it kind of suffers from kind of like, as you would suspect, most state run websites. Sorry. So having Google take it over while again, wondering how much data we give Google is, a question that we might ask or not ask these days, but it'll look better. Google will do it better. Sorry, state of Colorado. You're awesome either way, but yeah, looking forward to that.
You're still awesome, Colorado.
You're still awesome.
All right. Well, there you go. There's some major features that you can't wear on your face. These are actual features that just exist inside of your phone now, or if you live in a couple of those states that we talked about. Anyways, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the Pixel 7a, which I've been using for the last couple of weeks. So I've got thoughts on that, and they may surprise you. How's that for a tease? They probably won't surprise you that much, but you want to watch because I do think that it's a little different than previous A series, and I'll tell you why. But first, want to tell you a little bit about what we do here at Twit. We do shows like these, and really, what is it all about? It's about hopefully giving you, the listener, the viewer, conversation and information about something that you love, which we love as well, and that's technology, right? We are all tech enthusiasts. We offer you the knowledge. We share the knowledge that we have with you because we're all part of the conversation together. And in order to empower us, enable us to do that, we create partnerships with trusted brands. We make just really effective and important introductions between those trusted brands and our audience, right? We're kind of connecting the two. So many of our listeners, in fact, half of them are in management positions or above. 65% are involved in their company's decision-making. Our audience, literally, they're raising the bar for us and for our partners, explaining why our network continues to stay at the top of delivering the reliable tech news that we do each and every day here. Partnering with Twit basically means that you get the gold standard in podcast advertising with valuable services. And we just have a whole suite of services that we offer when you choose to advertise with us. A full service continuity team supporting everything from copywriting to graphic designs. We've got everybody working in tandem to give you the most impactful and effective assets and ultimately the best ad reads that we can. Embedded ads that are unique every time. We also over-deliver on impressions. We've got onboarding services, ad tech with pod sites, which is actually free for direct clients, and detailed reporting. Courtesy commercials, of course, you can share those across social media, across landing pages that you happen to have, and lots of other free goodies, things like including mentions in our weekly newsletter that we send to many thousands of fans, bonus ads, social media promotion. I mean, you name it, we've got our hands in it all. And we want long-term partners that want to grow with us. Without the partners, we don't have the shows. So it's really important, right? To find the right partners, bring them in, and make that introduction between you and the listeners, viewers that we have. Tim Broom is the founder of IT Pro TV. They've advertised on our network for more than 10 years. As you probably already know, they've been with us forever. And Tim said we would not be where we are today without the Twit network. Mark McCreary is the CEO of Authentic. They've partnered with Twit for 16 years. And they said the feedback from many advertisers over 16 years across a range of product categories is that if ads and podcasts are going to work for a brand, they're going to work on Twit shows. I think that speaks very highly about the effectiveness of what we do here. So when you're ready to elevate your business, we want you to remember Twit. Reach out to us at advertise@twit.tv today and work with our world-class audience. That's you. That's advertise@twit.tv. And yeah, thanks for letting us talk a little bit about why we're so cool. Yeah, we're pretty cool. You already know that, though. You're watching and listening, so hopefully that means you think we're pretty cool, too. There you go. Okay, and you know what else is cool? The Pixel 7a. So let's jump right into the hardware block and talk all about it. Well, look what we have here. It's a mid-range Pixel, another A series phone coming from Google. Google sent me this device, the Pixel 7a. And, you know, anyone who watches or listens to this show knows that we are fans on this show. I think year after year, we're pretty big fans of the A series. Pixel phones in general, obviously, we love them. We talk about Pixel phones all the time. We're always talking about new updates and the new phones and the rumors even and all that kind of stuff. But the A series obviously occupies a different category of phone. It's not the premium top of the line, flagship model. But it's kind of, I think the what's interesting about this year's offering is that it's almost that. Like, it's really close. It's really close to the 7. And I think that's a good thing, but it's also a very confusing thing. And so that's kind of my shortened thesis on my time with the 7a. I've spent a couple of weeks with this, have my SIM loaded inside of the 7a. So this has been my phone for 2 weeks now. And so I'll go ahead and pop it out of the case, which Google also sent. This is their their standard case. They no longer do the fabric cases. Google does these like silicone cases. And I don't know, this is my second time having them. And maybe the first time I used them, I thought they were okay. This time, I got to say, it kind of bugs me. Like, it's super, I realize a case is supposed to help protect your phone, but it's so sticky that it's like almost like too sticky. Like, pulling it out of my pocket, I'm always like, my pocket goes inside out because it just sticks to the pocket, Anyways, this is not a case review, but that aside, you can get the case if you like that kind of case, but I'm not a huge fan. So we got the 7a here, and as you can see just by looking at it, so Ron, you've got the Pixel 7, right? Your device is a 7, not a 7 Pro.
It's a 7, correct.
How close does this look like the 7?
It looks very close.
It's almost identical. Like if I had a 7 to hold up against this, I think where you'd notice a difference is that the camera bump is not quite as steep. It's a shallower camera bump. There's a reason for that. The camera in here is different from the 7. Actually, it's the first time that Google has this particular sensor, the 64 megapixel primary sensor, first time in any of the Pixel family. It does bend down to 16 megapixels, by the way, so you're not getting full 64 megapixel images. But what that means is it's a shallower lens, so you end up with this kind of shallower camera bump, which I actually like. I mean, the trade-off there, of course, is that you can probably get a nicer piece of hardware out of the thicker camera lens, or the thicker camera bump allows for, more camera hardware, larger sensors, that sort of stuff. But, Burke, is that a 6? 6A. That's the 6A. Oh, interesting. Okay. So Burke brought in his 6A. So this is, hold on. Let me go ahead and dust off that little camera bump area. Obviously you've had a case on because it's collecting a little bit.
Wait a minute. Is that a 1 Plus?
It kind of looks, no, not quite. This is this like a magnet thing? Yeah, a magnet thingy thing. So, I mean, this is the 6A. This is Burke's 6A. This is the 7A. So this isn't obviously the Pixel 7, which is what we're talking about, but you can kind of see there's a lot of similarity. The 6A camera bump is even shallower than the 7A. So we've got a thicker camera bump on the 7A compared to the 6A, which, probably has something to do with that upgraded 64 megapixel primary sensor in there. But anyways, and it's maybe a little bit thinner. Yeah. Anyways, thank you, Burke. That's always interesting to put them side by side. But design wise, I mean, yeah, it looks a lot like the Pixel 6, the Pixel 7. But you do have the plastic back. So if that bothers you, I mean, that's just a fact here, but it's a little bit lighter. It doesn't feel cheap in any way. I think it's a really great trade-off. It obviously doesn't help it protect against fingerprints because it's covered, as you can see. but I always have it in a case anyways, so that sort of stuff doesn't bother me. Outside of that, I mean, it's really very similar, right? You've got the same Tensor G2 processor on the inside. So performance-wise, you should, and I mostly did, get, very comparable performance doing everything that I do with a phone. It has 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage. I say mostly because I would get, and I wouldn't even know how to replicate it, but just in regular use, I would get times where I'd open up an app and I'd go to a posting, like say, maybe I'd open up Reddit or whatever, and I go to a posting, and it would take like 5 or 7 seconds to actually populate it. It's like it would go to that page, and then it would like pause, and then eventually all the text would appear on the screen. So I don't know if that's the app or what, but I know I got it in a few different apps. What would you think when facing something like that? Does that feel like hearing that in your developer mind? You're like, oh, that sounds like a developer didn't button up this thing in their app, or is that potentially performance on a phone? Well, I guess it could be both, obviously.
I mean, it could be both. It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on like how often it happens, like what else is going on with your phone. Did you restart it? I mean, you can always blame us. That's fair.
I don't want to blame anyone. I just want to know what's going on.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because I would say, like, to be fair, it could be combination factors, but it could be like two things together. Like something is a little bit less buttoned up, and then with like maybe slightly less flagshipy hardware. Like that's a really good point, because I think sometimes a lot of us tend to test only on flagship because it's easier, right? Because it's easy to say, hey, it feels like a lot of people, and this is just weird mindset, like a lot of people are on flagship, so it's easier to test on flagships, and for us it's easier too, right? Because we don't have to deal with performance problems. So it could very well be that as well. People aren't very good at tuning apps and experiences to mid-range. Sorry.
Well, I think you're absolutely right there, Wynn, because I think this goes back to fragmentation, and there's just possibly too many phones, right? And like that's why I think a lot of people, as awesome, and I speak for this from experience with testing, my own apps, when you upload the APK to the Google Play Store, and then they test it on their side on phones, and you'll get a report saying this app doesn't work on a Google, Samsung, whatever it is. Like you get specific phone mentions in the Google Play Store, which is really convenient, but you can lean on that because you're just looking for functionality. You're not looking for performance tuning.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
100%. Yeah. Trade-offs. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, I throw that out there just to say that I noticed that with this phone where I wasn't noticing it with my Pixel 7 Pro. And so things like that jump out at me where I'm like, okay, well, this is not something that I've like adapted with over the last 6 months. I'm now using this phone and I'm noticing these like kind of hiccup moments. And so I don't know what is to blame. I don't know if that's the phone or the app. I mean, technically.
Have you ever thought that?
Well, sorry.
Have you ever thought that maybe you're to blame, Jason?
Maybe.
You're the problem,
maybe
Jason.
I'm just too fast at opening apps. I just need to slow down as a user.
Your eyes just move too fast. Your eyes are like 240 hertz. Like we need
I have great expectations of my hardware. That's what it is.
Fair.
So who knows? But I did notice that. Also noticed some connectivity blips, and here's where I wonder because if you remember my OnePlus 11 5G review, I dinged it about that as well. I had moments where my SIM would just, like my mobile connectivity would just kind of blank out, and for no apparent reason. And the only way that I could restore it was to do a restart of the phone. I don't ever experience that with my 7 Pro, but I did with the OnePlus 11 5G. By the way, OnePlus is sending me another one so that I can test it because they didn't have that report for anyone else. And I was like, okay, send me another one. I really want to set the record straight. And, if it's not happening anymore, I want to say it on the show. So I've got one of those coming to me, so I'll report back on that. But I did experience that with the 7A. So then I'm like, well, maybe it's the SIM, or you know what I mean? But if it's the SIM, then why does it not happen with the 7 Pro? These things are so messy. It's like there's no consistency. I don't know what the problem is, but there is a problem, and I certainly experienced it a number of times. So that happened here. I haven't seen any other reviewers that are really talking very much about that. I did actually see one review earlier today that mentioned something along those lines, but I don't know how consistent that is to rely on it as like the phone is just horrible because of this thing. So I'm not even going to go there. The display, 6.1 inch FHD OLED HDR display. It does have, this is the first A series that has 90 hertz. You do need to go into the settings in order to activate that. It's not on by default. So I think a lot of people will get this phone and they'll never know to do that, and they'll never experience the 90 hertz. And I think Google does that because of battery. You know, when you're running at 90 hertz, you're going to be churning through a little bit more battery. I didn't find the battery life on this phone to be outstanding. I also didn't find it to be horrible. And with the 90 hertz on, you know, it's kind of like a dynamic 60 to 90 hertz thing. So, you know, it's ramping up smartly at times. And I don't know. I like things to be visually smooth, so I put it on. Having said that, I just had the Reddit app open and I was doing some scrolling and things were jittering a little bit for me. So, you know, there you go. But I think the display, you know, the colors, the brightness and everything is fine. I mean, there was nothing that really jumped out at me as I was using this phone, like, oh, this display is horrible. And I have seen other reviewers who said that the display bothered them, but I certainly didn't see it. I didn't experience that. Now, I mentioned the battery, by the way, 4385 milliamp hour battery, obviously non-removable. We don't even mention that anymore because when's the last time we saw a removable battery? But like I said, battery performance was fine. Not top of the heap, not bottom of the pile. But it is worth noting that this now has, the A series now has wireless charging, which is awesome. You've got wireless charging. If you've got a pad, you can just set it on it. It will snap into gear. The downside, though, is, I mean, yes, it's wireless charging, but it's 5 watt. So it's really slow, which doesn't matter if you're doing overnight charging. Yay, just set it on the pad and you'll wake up and it'll be charged overnight, you know, with the 5 watt trickle. But if you're looking to do like a fast top up, you're not going to get it with wireless charging. You're hardly going to get it with wired. I didn't write it down, but I think it's something like 15 watt wired charging. So it's not really a fast charger in any stretch. What else is there to say? Well, the camera, the A series phones and Pixels in general just always have really great cameras. Like I said, this is a little different because it's a brand new primary sensor, the 64 megapixel. And I would say the quality is pretty darn, you know, it's as expected. I mean, in really great light situations, you get some really fantastic images. I got some really nice low light images. Saw some wonderfully adorable dogs when we were visiting family in Atlanta. There you go. You know, I think the Pixel camera is two things in my experience. One, it is pretty dependable, good quality. Like, no matter the lighting situation, I can usually pull out a Pixel phone, and this one included, and take a picture with it. And, you know, it's going to be great quality. And just two, like, it's really hard to mess it up. You can almost always take out your Pixel phone and take a shot, like I said, in most any condition, and you're probably going to end up with a pretty great picture. So it's kind of good quality, and it's hard to mess it up. And I think that's what's really appealing about the Pixel family of cameras. Oh, we painted our cabinets this weekend. Apparently, we like the color blue. And let me tell you, that was a project. Oof, I didn't have a weekend. I had a painting all weekend. Anyways, there you go. And there's the finished product. Before they were really ugly, and now they're blue.
The blue is really popping in that photo. So.
I know. Thank you. Yeah. That's what I was looking for. I was fishing for compliments.
Yeah.
So,
sure. Yeah.
Oh, that hard work. There we go. Okay. So I think at the end of the day, you know, the A series is about value. It has been. Remember the Pixel 3A way back when that launched at $399. At the time, the Pixel 3, which was the next step up, was $799. So you had a $400 phone that they just launched, the 3A, and then an $800 phone, the next step up. Probably there were some sales and stuff that brought that down to $6, but still it was a couple of $100, $200 to $300. What you have now is you have the 7A at $499, so $500. And then you have the Pixel 7 at $599, $600. So it's a $100 step up. You do have some of these features that we've been waiting for, the higher refresh display. You have the, you still have the great camera. You have the wireless charging. That's a feature that every year people are like, yeah, but it doesn't have wireless charging. Now it does. But I think as much as I do like this phone, I think it's a great phone. It's kind of like the price differential is so close now that it isn't quite as knee-jerk as I think it was before. When it was a $400 phone and then the next step was $800, there was no question. I mean, you get that 3A because you're getting so much of the same experience. You're saving half the cost. Now you're saving $100, and I guess $100 is $100, and you're still getting a lot of really great features. I guess you have to ask yourself, like, what are you getting in the 7 that you aren't in the 7A? You're getting a 0.2 inches of display, and you're still getting that 90 hertz. You're getting a handful of features. You're getting the glass design on the back instead of plastic. But I think at this point, it's kind of diluted a little bit to where it's kind of less obvious, if that makes sense. And I don't know. I'm curious to hear what y'all think.
I mean, I haven't gotten mine yet. I still need to chase it down, but my limited time at Google I/O of holding this phone, I was really impressed with the phone feel, right? Just the feel of the phone in terms of like having felt previous A devices compared to the regular or the Pro versions, and the gap between the phone feel in this one and the Pixel 7 was very thin. Yeah, like it did not feel cheap in any way, shape, or form. No. Now that doesn't speak to the camera quality or the battery or the performance or stuff like that. But to your point, I do agree that on the price standpoint, if someone's looking for a new phone, 7A versus the 7. If they've got the extra money to spare, I'm going to say go for the 7, but not everybody does have the extra money to spare. Sure. And additionally, there might be 100 is 100. There might be trade-in opportunities. There might be, like other ways to get the phone even cheaper. And you still get a really quality mid-range phone in the process. So I think that's still important.
That's a good point. If I do a search for Pixel 7 and go to the Google store, I'm happy you mentioned that. It looks like trade-in right now. So Father's Day, get up to $350 back with eligible trade-in. So if you're spending $600 on a Pixel 7 and you can get up to $350 back, you're hardly spending anything.
Here's a fantastic example. So I've enrolled in Google Search Labs, and I have the generative AI search results panel in my search results. Okay. And so I typed in was 7A deals, and I got generative AI results. Here are some deals for the Google Pixel 7A. Amazon, $50 off or a free Amazon gift card for $50. Best Buy, you get a free $50 Best Buy gift card and $50 off of the same day activation. All right. Google Store, you get free Pixel Buds A and a limited edition phone case. Come on, Google Store, you can do better. AT&T, you get $2 per month for 36 months with no trade-in required. Mint Mobile, you get $100 off and 6 months of free data. Verizon, it's free with select 5G and limited plans. And T-Mobile, it's free with a new line or a trade-in. So 100 is 100, but there's a bunch of deals on there that to be had on that 7A. And thank you, generative AI.
No kidding. That's quite a...
That's awesome.
It's like I got this research for you. You go ahead and have dinner. Which is
a larger conversation, a question about like why go to web pages anymore.
But, yeah, that is a big question. Yeah. Okay. Well, then you've got a lot of like deal opportunities to get that price even further down. Then is what that tells me. So, in which case, I mean, it does become even more of a value. That's really interesting. Thank you for doing that. So there you go. And all of this is to say it is not a bad phone. It's a great phone, as I expected. I always tend to like the A series devices. I'm always kind of impressed by them. This is now, the 5th year of the A series phone. Maybe my impressed is has lessened because we've gotten so used to it and the prices come a little bit closer, but it's a great phone. If that's what you can afford, you're going to get a fantastic device. And, of course you have Google's longer term commitment to updates, which is nice to have as well. So Pixel 7a, solid choice, but really understand the difference of what you're getting between the 7a and the 7, because you might want that faster wireless charging that you get with the 7 that you don't get on the 7a, or these features might be worth $100 to you, and you might actually be able to get a pretty good deal on a 7 right now if you have a trade-in. So take a look for yourself. And thank you to Google for sending me this device to review, the Pixel 7a. There you go. If you end up getting one and you want to share your thoughts with us, we would love to hear it. AAA@twit.tv.
Indeed. So I do love it when manufacturer announcements catch up with the leaks that we've been talking about. That's always nice because we get stuff confirmed, right? And Motorola steps in and announces 2 new foldables, things that we've previously talked about in leaks format, the Razr and the Razr Plus. But still, these are worth discussing now that they're official. The Razr Plus is coming to the United States on June 23rd, a couple of weeks, for $9.99. And the Razr Plus has a huge cover screen. It's a 3.6-inch OLED with 144 hertz refresh rate, covered by Gorilla Glass Victus, and can run most apps on that display. It's basically like having a tiny, like a half-height smartphone. It's insane. The inner OLED unfolds to a 6.9-inch 1080p panel with 165 hertz refresh. And this is all running on the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset. And it's got 8 gig of RAM, 256 gig of storage, 12 megapixel f1.5 stabilized main camera, 5-watt wireless charging. And it is not resistant to water immersion, IPX8 like the Z Flip, but it is IP52, which is dust and water repellent. So there you go. Just don't jump into the pool with it.
Don't take it in the shower.
Yeah. And the hinge can hold at 90 degrees. So if you want to use the phone like at a 90-degree perpendicular format, that's fine. But it will not hold at any degree like the Z Flip. So if you're looking to tilt the phone itself, don't do that. But so there it is. I love this cover screen. I mean, like, honestly, like, we've seen a bunch of little, tinkering with cover screens and smaller versions and things like that, but making it the whole front panel or nearly the whole front panel, that's pretty cool. So.
I like that. I think we talked about this in a leak, but it does look like there is a gesture bar, a very tiny gesture bar to the left of the cameras. And I believe that was very specifically mentioned in like our early render we looked at. So yeah, for realsies, it's functional. Like, I mean, usability aside on how tiny that is, but it is functional. It looks like you can actually like search for apps, go back and all kinds of stuff. So that's pretty unique. I think even the Oppo Flip and the Z Fold are kind of more like, abbreviated experiences, just like kind of a subset, but wow, like bigger screen and bigger functionality. And the hype, I mean, I've been surprised. I've seen a lot of really excited hype around this phone, which is fantastic for Razr, because obviously the first time they released the smartphone version of the Razr, it was like, wow, that's cute. But this seems like they actually kind of not just caught up to Samsung, but leapt ahead a little bit and did something special. So good on them. And
you're totally right, because the screen is bigger, but get that hinge to be at any angle, and then that's a weird one. Even more. Yeah, like that, right? Like one step forward, like a half step back, maybe.
Yeah, like that's a strange one to not have, because I feel like Samsung has gotten a lot of praise for that. Maybe that's just really hard to do. Although it's Motorola, like I'm sure they probably have the R&D to pull that off. But yeah, that was a little weird. Like, why can't you go at any angle? That seems strange to me. Also, maybe there should be like a little button that you push on the side when it's open, so that you can do the old school slap it shut thing.
Ooh,
and it like removes the resistance. You hold down the button and do that, and it goes. You're like, yeah, I remember that. Yep. Flip it open. See, I just remember really enjoying that. So there you go.
It was satisfying. It was satisfying.
It was. It was. Yep. Good job, Motorola. All right. We're going to take a pause for a moment right before we get into our app news. We're just going to think really hard about something. Okay, we did it. Let's go to app news. I know that was confusing, but it's essential. Okay. Sometimes you just got to take a break. You got to catch up, what you got, Win? Oh, Google Assistant.
Yeah. So, you know how Google Assistant seemed like it's not getting a lot of love lately at all?
Assistant's like really? We used to be your favorite.
Well, guess what? They're taking more toys away from Google Assistant.
Yep.
So Google Assistant is killing support for notes and list integration with third-party apps. If you are using Google Keep, though, you get to keep your notes and lists. And obviously, this is just yet another, dance in this in the Google product feature shuffle. Especially with the advent of Bard and AI assistants. It just looks like they're maybe just trying to consolidate stuff. And speaking of consolidating, kind of to go with this is, of course, the fate of reminders. And so to kind of go in hand with the fact that, they're removing third-party integration for notes and lists for Google Assistant. If you are still using Assistant reminders, it is now time to start migrating to tasks. Now, task is as much as a pain it is to kind of feel like, we have all these things that we've used for years and years and they work. Google Tasks is a bit of an improvement on reminders. It has like a, newer user interface, user experience, and integrates more places. It's going to be a dedicated app that is also going to be integrated into the sidebar of Gmail, Drive, and Docs, and of course, Calendar. So you're going to get, your reminders and what's a non-task word for task? Things to do. You're going to get your things to do in more places, and you will be able to use the familiar prompts of, hey, girl, remind me to do this, or set a reminder to do that, and it will save to Google Tasks. And there is a migration process that is in place. So right now, if you create any reminder in Google Assistant, you'll get a little card that says see reminders in Google Tasks, and it will, kind of help you through the process of migrating any of your current existing reminders over to Tasks. Alternatively, if you just want to rip the Band-Aid off, you can go to assistant.google.com/reminder/move and get it done. And to make sure that it stays confusing, Google does note that reminders created in Google Keep won't be turned into tasks. They can stay in Keep. So there's
okay.
So yes. So
someday
in general,
this will all make sense.
Maybe we'll need to make a matrix of functionality,
things you can
app,
and
and
can't
just
do.
check marks, and then just erase and check as possible. But reminders got to go to tasks. You got to go to Keep for your list in your notes, but you can also have reminders there still, and take that as you will. Sorry, Google
the
Assistant.
thing that you won't be able to do that you could do with
What's that?
reminders that you can't do with tasks? That's location based.
That's right.
Yeah. And actually, I activated Google's generative search thing, and I forgot that I did it. And I just went in and searched Google Tasks location based. And the generative AI answered Google Tasks doesn't support location based reminders. If you attach a location to a task, the location will be automatically added to the task details field, but you won't receive a notification based on location. That's a bummer, because I think a lot of people use those. That seems like a feature that should really be there, and probably will be. And when it is, it'll be touted as a really big deal. Like, oh, hey, guess what we've done? Because this is how it goes.
Take it away so we can give it back and pretend like it's a new thing.
Yes, exactly. Get you all excited about it again. Also, I just want to say I went to killedbygoogle.com to see if any of this stuff was listed there, and it isn't. But I really appreciate the work that they're doing there, because Google optimizes at the top of the list. And apparently this on the site, they now have the ability to count down, or they probably had this for a long time, to count down when in the future it's going to be, not just on this date, but in 4 months or in 5 days or whatever. And I appreciate all the different ways that that a product is listed as about to be killed. Off to the glue factory in 4 months. Floating belly up in 8 days. Done for in 2 months. To be flushed in 6 days. Anyways, killed by Google. It's a lot of fun to spend some time there and remember all of the Google things that no longer exist. It's a really long list too. Anywho, okay. So Google Weather, apparently there's conflicting thoughts and opinions on what's happening here. So I saw, a lot of people getting really excited about the possibility of Google Weather becoming its own app, which in my mind kind of makes sense. Like the way the weather experience has been is it's been integrated into Google Search, right? It's part of the Search app. So it's not an app that you can launch on its own, although you can get to it through, like on the Pixel, if you've got your time in your weather area, if you tap the weather, that opens up the weather portion, but it's feeding from the Google Search app. Well, 9 to 5 Google did an APK insight and found clues that they thought were pointing to the possibility that Google Weather was going to become its own breakout app, an upcoming revamp, in fact. And you can kind of see the revamp is this like dual screen, obviously shown on a Pixel Fold experience that looks very different from the Google Weather experience that we're used to seeing right now. The thought, according to 9 to 5 Google, was that it was going to end up in its own app and wouldn't be tied into the Google Search update anymore. Would kind of, minimize the size potentially of everything that's happening in the Google Search app. But shortly before the show, our friend Michal Rahman pointed us to a couple of tweets, like a thread that he posted earlier today, where he posits a few things here. He says, quote, "Instead of a standalone app you interact with, I think this new app could just be a location-based weather provider for not just the clock app, but potentially other Google apps down the road. And the new experience would remain part of the Google app. Adding location-based weather directly into clock or other apps would require requesting location permissions. Having an external provider would avoid that." There's a lot of skepticism and concern lately around apps and location access. So Michal does not believe that this is going to be a standalone app, but rather that Google is working on kind of building in an official location-based weather provider into the Google search experience at the benefit of the Google weather experience, but also potentially others. So that's kind of news in and of itself, if that's what is to happen. And I'm also reminded that Michal Rahman is very smart.
Sure
Confirm.
is.
He looks at these things like, oh, yeah, actually, you know what? I don't think it's that. This is what I think it is. Yeah.
So we'll see who's right. We'll see who can,
totally. We don't know when we'll see who's right, but someone's right. They're on opposing sides of the field. Which one wins this?
My money's on Michal. I'm gonna double down on our guy. So
that's right. We'll find out. Breaking news. Is there news, or is it just breaking news that Michal's awesome?
Yeah, just that Michal's smart. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Breaking news. That's not breaking news. We knew that all along, Victor.
Well, yeah, it just took me a while to find the button.
Okay. I mean, if at the end of the day, Michal just needed a bumper of some sort, I think that's the right bumper to play. So good work.
Well, so earlier in the show, I was referring to the generative AI results that I get in search results now, and that was shown at Google I/O, and other AI features and benefits that are beginning to roll out specifically within the Android ecosystem. Image generation feature is rolling out for Google Slides for custom backgrounds and presentations. So if you use Google Slides for your presentations, you can use generative AI. You can click the Help Me Visualize and then enter a prompt, and it'll help create an image. You can choose the style, whether it's photography, illustration, a flat lay, background, clip art, or just none. And Google will generate 6 to 8 designs to start. So that's pretty cool. The Gmail Help Me Write gets contextual suggestions for replies taking from the previous thread. So, for example, the names of the people you're replying to and any times or dates in the thread. So it's parsing through the conversation and giving you some prompts to help you write a response back. And, of course, the messages Magic Compose, the ballyhooed Magic Compose and messages beta began rolling out over a week ago to beta testers with priority given to Google One subscribers who are not rocking in the corner due to their dark web search results. And currently, shocking, it only works with RCS messages. So I can count on maybe one hand the number of people I can use this with. But it's there. It's there. So.
But it's there.
We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I find the Gmail email response prompt to be extremely useful and fascinating and actually really, really effective. Messages is such a short, text messages is such a short, specific thing. Yeah. I don't like, other than, okay, great, I'll see you when I get there, or like little prompts like that, which I feel like we already have. I can't imagine using AI for thoughtful responses to text messages. Seems like an extra step or an extra bit of friction in a context that I don't want any friction.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Do you have the Gmail?
I do.
The write for me thing? I don't know that I have it.
I do.
So when did it appear for you?
Only in one of my accounts. I signed up for my OG Gmail account that I use, not my Google Workspace accounts. So that might be the difference. So like my original, signed up with Google Gmail account, that's the one I signed up for, and it all unlocked and it's all there. I don't have it for any of my Workspace accounts, even though I tried to sign up for it via those accounts. So.
Yeah, I don't have it on either of the accounts. I'm pretty sure. Did you have to sign up for it in the labs? Like, is it found in that labs page? Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. Maybe I overlooked it because I have not used that feature yet and I haven't seen it. I'm on the labs page. Code tips, SGE, the search generative experience. I have that. The add to sheets. Make planning easier. Oh, that's not AI. That's not AI. Turn off. That's not AI. Go away. No, I don't have it yet. I don't have the ability to do that. I'm super curious. So you have been using it and you like it?
I've used it here and there. I played with it, but I'm not. Yeah. I'm unfortunately, I have it in an account that is not my primary email account.
Right.
So I played with it, but not really. Gotten not in constant use. So.
All right. Well, hopefully we all get the opportunity to do that because I'm super curious. I'm very curious to know how much I will use it and in what context, and how much, if I'm getting that information, how much I'm trimming away from it to add my own voice versus using what it says. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to find an email from you that I can respond to. Here it is. Okay. So reply all, help me write. Thank him for the email.
Thank him, assistant.
So, yeah, see, this actually didn't do that great. It just said, "Hi, bracket name. Thank you for your email. I appreciate you reaching out. I look forward to chatting with you about bracket topic."
Oh my God. Wait, so what does it do with the bracket name and bracket? It doesn't automatically fill that in for you?
Yeah, no, I'm going to insert it.
Or is it highlighting that so that you know to replace it?
Nope, it just literally put it into that, went into the email. I just put it in the Slack for you.
Dear.
It says, "Hi, bracket name. Thanks for your email."
Yes. So make sure you change name to the name you're sending it to.
But now, admittedly, I was responding to an email from you that you did not say Jason, like you were forwarding an email, you only wrote one line. There was little to no context in there.
Yeah,
so probably not a good example. So
just make sure you don't ever send this email when you use Google to write things for
exactly.
you.
And that's the thing. Once again, these AI things are tools to be used. They're not going to take over your life because they're stupid, right? They can glean some information to help give you a nudge or a push or whatever, and I do struggle with generative AI for images because I do worry about the sources and artist appropriation and attribution, because that the AI brain needs to learn from something, and I'm sure Google's doing it responsibly, but other AI sources and other AI models are just ingesting art that's on the web and then regurgitating it out slightly modified, right?
Right.
So generative AI on images is a little murky, but these text prompts I find to be immensely useful. So
interesting. All right. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Win, over to you.
Over to me. And I don't want to give this too much preamble. We're talking about, it's WWC week and there's a lot of announcements going on. But if you want something really, really freaking cool that you can get on Android, our very own JR Rayfield has something for us. What you got, JR?
Hey gang, hope everyone is sufficiently recovered from all of the magical and revolutionary stuff coming out of Apple's annual Adjective Flinging Festival, as I like to think about it. Life-changing announcements and revelations, I tell you. All right, seriously, given all the focus on that in the tech world right now, I thought this would be a fine time for us to zoom in on one of the many mobile tech possibilities that's available only here in the land of Android. And today's tip, it definitely qualifies. So an Android intelligence reader just recently alerted me to this really awesome app I hadn't seen before called Raise to Answer. Raise to Answer is such a smart, just thoughtfully executed idea. I just had to share it with you. The app does one thing, and it does it really well. Once you install it, it automatically answers any incoming call for you as soon as you raise your phone to your ear. That's it. Well, okay, it can also automatically decline a call for you when you set your phone down, if you want. But the raising to answer is the main thing, and really what's most impressive about it, because that means there's no need to tap, swipe, or do any of the other usual stuff you've got to do when a call comes in and you actually want to answer it. You just lift your phone up to your face the same way you would when you actually start talking. And that's it. Based on that motion and the proximity of your phone to your hefty old noggin, the app will instantly accept the call and let you start talking. Raise to Answer is completely free to use without any ads or eyebrow raising permissions. Just install it, set it up once, and boom, you'll never even think about it again. Hey, speaking of spectacular things you'll set up once and then enjoy eternally, are you getting my Android intelligence newsletter yet? If not, you're really missing out. Subscribers actually saw this tip in their inbox yesterday afternoon as part of a special Monday Tips Roundup email. Included a bunch of other off-the-beaten-path Android efficiency enhancers too. Well, you can get in on the action and make sure you never miss out on a single juicy googly goodie by making your way over to androidintel.net/twit and signing up now. It's completely free for you. That site again is androidintel.net/twit. That's all for today. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got that call coming in from Cupertino again. I better take it. It's not going away. Hello. Hey, Tim. Yep. I can help you set that up on your Pixel. I promise I won't tell anyone. I'll see you guys next week. Okay, so open up the Google Play Store. Yep, Google Play Store. I can hold.
You gotta give him credit for doing a bit. I respect that he's doing a bit. I like it. Good job, JR.
Oh, it cracked me up now, but it also cracked me up the first time I watched it. Just that.
I was laughing. I sent Chad a message. I sent Chad a message like, y'all, I'm laughing. It's like 15 seconds into JR's video and I'm already laughing.
Too funny.
He stuck the landing. I got to give him credit.
He did.
Sometimes bits are hard, but he nailed it. Thank you, JR Rayfield. That app again is called Raise to Answer. And if you were watching the video version, you saw it work because a call did come through. And when he raised it up, he didn't do anything extra. It just kind of answered. So that's pretty sweet. Check it out in the Play Store. And again, his newsletter can be found at androidintel.net/twit. Okay, we're going to check in on some of our feedback from this week, and that's coming up next. AAA twit.tv 347 show AAA. Ron has the first email.
I do. I'm very excited because James writes in with kind regards and says, love the show. And I'm just wondering if any of you might have any recommendations for magnetic battery packs that effectively wireless charge a Pixel 6 Pro. I bought a few random ones and they seem to attach but don't charge properly, and with and without my mag back case. I'm just wondering if any of you have a magnetic battery pack that really works well on Android devices. There seems to be loads for Apple, but I'm struggling to find a good one for Android. Any ideas? And James, we have not used them. So we cannot give you a testimonial in any regard. But Jason
I have not.
has done some great research and Burke has charged in as well too. Burke has chimed in as well. So digging in, our friends over at Android Police, they recommend the Mophie Snap Plus Juice Pack as long as your phone is fitted with a Snap adapter. 5,000 milliamps, and it's normally $50, but on sale on Amazon right now for $27.99.
I mean, that's half off basically. So if
yeah,
you can
go
get it now. Now's the time.
Yeah.
I actually went to Camel, which is what I use to check Amazon prices. It's a really great site to see the history of prices on Amazon to see. And this is kind of the lowest it's ever been, and it's only been there for like a couple of weeks. So usually it is at $50, and now it's at half off. So yeah.
So, and that will let you wirelessly charge any key device. It's key, right? Qi. Any Qi device at 12 watts, also USB-C. And all over at Android Authority, they recommended just last week the Anker, which is a very reputable brand, Anker 622 magnetic battery with 5,000 milliamp battery and USB-C for $59, and the Anker 633 magnetic battery with 10,000 milliamp battery, faster 20 watt USB-C and USB-A, and that's $80. And both require a MagSafe adapter or magnetic case. So those are two very good choices. A little pricier than the Mophie Snap Plus, but I said that I teased you that Burke had chimed in as well. He's written here in our little document in all caps. He signed it Burke. So just so you know, but Burke says wireless charging is 100% dependent on correct rotational orientation of the device and charger/battery. So if you've gotten some that don't seem to charge properly, it might be because you're not, the orientation of the device and charger battery is not in place in a good spot. So thank you, Burke, in all caps for letting us know there. So, yep.
There you go.
And good luck. So James, let us write back in. Let us know what you got. Let us know what your experience was. Give us a little testimonial. Send in a video of it. Show us off what you get.
Yeah, I like that.
Or email, whatever you want. But keep it short. But keep us posted. Let us know how this drama plays out. So.
Love it. Hopefully that's helpful. And if other people have suggestions as well, let us know. AAA@twit.tv.
And I truly wish everybody, I wish I could wish this on everybody in our audience to understand what it's like to work with Burke, because he's the best. But the email, not the email, but his note also included the word wireless and dependent, which was spelled wrong. Were also in all caps. And so he really has text communication from Burke is very specific and pointed and clear. And I appreciate it.
He wants you to know when he's talking and when he's yelling.
Exactly. Or emphasizing. I don't see it as yelling. It's more as an emphasis. You know, I can hear Burke saying wireless and dependent, really driving those home. So
yes.
Thank you,
Me too.
So
also his name
deserves a breaking news bumper when Burke's
there you go. The Burke news bumper.
The Break and Burke bumper.
Break and Burke bumper. There we go. I like that. All right, Win, you got the next one.
Yeah, and the next one is from Tyler. Listening to your discussion regarding the Android 14 unsafe volume notification discussion. While I think this is a good thing in practice, as probably the predominant use of Bluetooth use is with headphones, the other day I had this pop up in my car while driving. I have a Bluetooth dongle that plugs into my car's auxiliary jack. I leave my phone volume at full, as that gives me the most dynamic range of control with my car stereo. Not loud at all. So my phone is ignorant of the actual volume level present. Maybe there needs to be some info handed back from the Bluetooth device to shape these notifications per their actual use context. I don't know. Would love to hear thoughts. Tyler. And Tyler, I do the exact same dang thing. And I think that's an excellent point. And I do it for the exact same reasons, because on full volume, you still get that extra, whatever range on top of the car volume. So I didn't think about that. I think that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's important, right? If we're listening in headphones, it's one thing, but if we're listening in our car, absolutely, you want that full volume to send through the car so you get the dynamic range. If you got it too low and then you turn it up, you're going to get that noise floor. So, a feature like that can be a big disadvantage if it's used in the wrong the wrong place, even though it's well-meaning. It's meant to protect your hearing, but in the car, it's less useful. So how do you communicate that either to the app or to the car stereo or whatever that needs to be? I don't know, but good point, Tyler. Thank you for sending that in. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. And so as a dev, I think there actually is a way to get the Bluetooth, so with modern APIs, this is just a very cursory look. So I think there is a way on some Android APIs to find out the Bluetooth device class. So this probably could be done. I don't have the up-to-date information on that, but generally speaking, that does seem like it should be a thing. So, hey, Google.
Good idea.
Check the device class.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Good idea. Do it, Google. All right. And we've got the email of the week right now. And we award this to Nick this time around, who wrote a lot of words. I'm not going to lie. And I cut this down. But it's an insight into pixel flight. That's what we can call it. Pixel flight. Or maybe not pixel flight. This is more like Android flight. Nick says, I'm pretty diehard Google, but I've been on Android since the OG Motorola Droid, currently using the Pixel 6 Pro, Pixel Buds Pro, and the Pixel Watch. I use Nest Wi-Fi, have a Nest doorbell, 6 Nest Minis, and 3 displays across my house. In the past, had a Motorola Zoom and Nexus 10 tablets. So I'm just going to stop. I'm going to stop right there and say, okay, all right, you got it. I think you've proven your point. You love the Google and the Google hardware. Nick says, I was eagerly awaiting the Pixel tablet. I'm disappointed that there doesn't appear to be a stylus. I have a feeling I'll be looking at an iPad in the near future, as my tablet needs will be more on the productivity side, but I'm starting to find myself considering a switch to the iPhone. I really like the Pixel Watch, but I'm frustrated with some things that have been brought up in the past, like no pocket casts. Why on earth don't routines work with Assistant on the watch? I have some home automation set up that use routines like that I trigger, like opening my garage, and you cannot do it on the watch. I do think that's pretty ridiculous. That should totally be a watch feature. Why is that not? Nick says, I mentioned the tablet concerns above, which, like the watch, feel like some things were either half-baked or compromised for some reason. Granted, the speaker stand is a cool idea, but if Google really wanted developers to get on board with building apps for big screens so you can multitask, doesn't it seem like you should just aim for productivity as well as just being a family media device? Yeah, I would agree with that. That's important too. And finally, messaging. I'm pretty much the only person in my immediate circle that uses Android. My wife, her whole family, colleagues, they're all on iOS. None of them pressure me, but I'm starting to get really frustrated dealing with not getting high quality videos my wife tries to send me of our kids or issues people have when trying to send me messages. Nick says, I know this is primarily Apple's fault for not getting on board with RCS, and I've always told myself that I would never switch just because of iMessage, but it's getting close to becoming a reality. I wish Apple would just make an iMessage Android app and even charge for it. They'd make a killing, I'm sure. And what's more is I'm sure that they wouldn't lose customers that already had iPhones. I'd happily pay $5 or even $10 a month because I know that if I do switch, I will hate the rest of the experience of using an iPhone. But if the next version ends up coming out with USB-C instead of a Lightning port, I may have to suck it up because I'm beginning to get sick of Google putting out unpolished products at premium prices, treating their customers as beta testers, then killing everything good and this stupid messaging debacle. So what do y'all think? I mean, he certainly paints a scene. And I can understand his criticisms. I mean, I think it's built up over time.
I will say, while you were reading that, I literally was on a text chain with my wife and 2 of our friends. All 3 of them are on iOS, and one of them is at an event and sent a video, and nobody can see that because the quality is so crunched. And I'm literally writing, send it direct to the other people. Stupid iOS is ruining it because it's being sent to me, and right, like, and knows like the blame could be like, oh, it's doing that because you're on Android, but I said no, it's doing it because iOS is doing it to us, like
yeah.
That,
but it doesn't matter. It's whatever side you are on is the side that's right because that's the phone that I have, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And no matter what, it's just a bad experience.
I mean, but the thing is that like my wife is on iOS. She's been on iOS for as long as we've been together, which this year will be 8 years. And what did I do within 2 months of dating her. I said, oh, go download WhatsApp.
And that's
right.
just how you.
And that's what we use. And she sends me high quality photos and videos, and I get them every time. Like, there are solutions and there are ways to mitigate it. It's funny because like this one text group is like the only one that I haven't really like pulled over to my solution to solve it. But like there are solutions to be had, and like you might have a lot of random people who are texting you once new friends or anything like that. That everyone's scenario is different, but like you can mitigate a lot of the problems with at least with the messaging side if you put some effort into it. Not to say that effort's not being made. I'm not suggesting that. He's clearly has. Nick really has, but you could solve some of it. I don't know. That doesn't argue the rest of his points, but that's just the messaging point itself. So yeah.
I don't know how good of a job I'm going to be able to do with this, but go ahead and do the breaking news bumper because it ties in with this story. So if you got breaking news, it's time for breaking news. Bum, 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 bum. So along with the Apple news of yesterday, I wanted to say yesteryear because how many opportunities do I get to say your? But I don't even know if that matters or makes any sense. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. So apparently something they didn't announce in the keynote is that, and this is in Android Authority's words, Apple is changing how Android affects iMessage, but not in the ways you want. Apple is taking the Google route and making interoperability better for its own users alone. And so their breakdown of this, and mind you, I have not read through this, so I'm just going to go by what Android Authority says here. iMessage will handle Android users and group chats a bit differently in iOS 17. Unfortunately, the experience will get better for iPhone users, not Android users. It's possible Apple has more changes in store for future iOS 17 beta rollouts. So I'm curious to know what this does, but I think it ties in directly with what you're talking about, is my understanding, Ron, is that when an Android user is in a group text message thread, it forces everybody into that, air quotes, broken experience. And it sounds like there's going to be some changes to iOS 17 that kind of side with the iPhone users in the chat and will impact Android users as a result. So if messaging with iOS users from an Android phone is difficult now, it sounds like it's about to get more difficult.
Awesome.
Great.
Cool.
Thanks.
Great.
Cool. I mean, I kind of feel vaguely embarrassed sometimes for Android by how hard Google is pushing the RCS.
Yeah, I do too.
Passive aggressiveness.
Yeah, totally.
But this kind of stuff, never mind. Never mind. I mean, it makes me feel like
it's actually because I'm literally like I'm live doing it, like because my friend just wrote back to me and said, yeah, Apple's the problem, and I wrote back and said, hey, they're the ones who are compressing your video, right? like they are, like it doesn't.
And that's exactly it, right? Like whichever side of that battle you're on is the right side, depending on where you are.
Right.
So text editing, I don't want to just like read this article, but I'm super curious. Like I want to know how this is changing. So apologies, but anyways, everyone should read the article at Android Authority. But it highlights 3 different elements of this: text editing, thread replies, and image and video quality. I'm just going to skip to that one because that's the one that we're really talking about right now. And if you want the rest, read the article. It says in iOS 16, if an iPhone user sends an image or video to a group chat that involves an Android user, like we were talking about, everyone in the chat sees the same thing the Android user sees, a very compressed file. Depending on the original's quality, could barely be comprehensible. In iOS 17, this gets slightly fixed for iPhone users. Now images stay uncompressed for iPhone users. Videos get compressed slightly. Android users see no changes. I guess I can kind of understand. Of course, you're going to make it, if you have the ability to, you're going to make it at least good enough for the other people running your hardware. But it's just a bummer because you know what? RCS would address this. If you built in RCS capability, then everybody would get good quality. And instead it's just like, no, you guys don't. But you guys are okay. But maybe it will lessen the hatred of that Android chatter in the group to not have them reducing the quality for everyone else. So maybe there's that. I don't know. I'm trying to look at this in real time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I follow it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think JR got to call Tim back. We got to have some words.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
true.
Clearly, if he's on the hotline.
JR, you got the direct line to Tim. You guys need to figure something out here. We're going to task you with that. Anyways. All right. Well, Nick,
Lordy.
Let us know where you end up. Do a follow-up when you decide what you're doing and all that. And we'll look forward to that. And in the meantime, congratulations for your email of the week. That had a bonus breaking news bumper in it. Good job. You got 2 songs. All right, we've reached the end of this episode of All About Android. It's been a lot of fun, and Win, it has been great to get you back. I'm sorry that you had to miss last week. It was not a fun week for you, but it's great to get you back. Tell people what you want them to know about what you're up to.
Yes, so I'm so happy to be back. I was very, very sick last week. 106-degree fever, but I'm over it. And I think, if my brain is not baked, that I am an Android developer, and I do tend to talk about Android technical things. And you can find all of those technical talks, video and code on my website, randomlytyping.com. And otherwise, find me on the interwebs at Queen Code Monkey. I am so happy to be back with you. I really missed you last week, especially in the fever, 106 fever dreams and whatever. It was bad, but I'm back.
But you made it. It's good to have you back. Thank you, Win. And then Ron, what you got to promote?
Yes, I've been on some podcasts for you.
Nice.
You should head over to our old friends over at Daily Tech News Show. I hopped on to talk with Rich and Sarah Lane and Roger Chang about Android of all things. They were talking about the people leaving Android for iOS survey that we talked about a couple weeks ago. We were talking about that, and then we talked a little bit about pinball. I got to talk about Scorebit a little bit on there. So it was the last Friday's episode, so June 2nd's episode of Daily Tech News Show. You can go check it out on their podcast or on YouTube. It's out there for you. It was a blast to be on there. Always good to be back on that show. And if not enough of me, you need to listen to more, head over to ifanboy.com, where me and the guys were talking about Return of the Jedi's 40th anniversary. I saw it in the theaters and was excited to talk about the movie and reaffirm my love for Return of the Jedi. So go head over to ifanboy.com. You can listen to that episode as well. So
I love Return of the Jedi. It's got some moments, but
it's perfect. It's such a great movie. It is a great movie. So it has been far too easy over the years for people to bash it, whether Ewoks or the director Richard Marquand or whatever. But like honestly, the whole Jabba's palace scene, solid.
Fantastic.
Put them on that is fantastic. Right?
Yes.
The space battles, fantastic. The Emperor, fantastic. Like there's so much fantastic in that movie. I love it. So yeah.
The final scene where they're all standing around smiling and laughing and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I'm okay with that if it's original release in Yub Nub. Like I do take issue with the special edition in three specific spots in the special edition. One is in Jabba's palace, getting rid of the original band song and replacing it with Jedi Rocks, which is just awful. 2, when Vader stops the Emperor from killing Luke and they dubbed in him going, no, like episode 3, like, nope, not good. And then lastly, the elimination of Yub Nub in favor of a annoying new agey whimsical celebration song. Nope. Yub Nub for life.
Yub Nub for life. That's got to be a t-shirt.
Yeah. I'm even good with the Ewoks. Like Ewoks are great. Like some of the Ewok scenes are awesome. Yeah, exactly. So, but
look, there can be cute aliens also out there. They don't all have to be menacing, weird-looking beasts.
Listen, and I talk about it on the podcast. I was 6 years old when it came out. Like I remember standing in line at the movie theater, like stuff like that, and like I didn't walk out of there going, "Oh my god, Ewoks are so cute! I need a plush of it." Like no, they were just like, "Oh cool." They're just like little, like it's very once again much like Android and messaging. It is very easy to dunk on Ewoks, and they're actually pretty good. So
you should not judge a book by its cover, and you should not underestimate someone cute and fuzzy as being incapable of taking care of themselves.
Yep, exactly. Now that said, They do take some liberties of fighting stormtroopers with sticks and rocks, maybe a little too far, but I'm going to go with it because it's sci-fi fantasy. So
right.
So,
maybe they were like the E-tier stormtroopers, you know, like the junior varsity stormtroopers.
Yeah, exactly. What we don't realize is that stormtroopers actually have very flimsy armor. That's what this movie reveals.
Their armor is very tuned for very specific things,
for laser bolts,
but not rocks and sticks.
Pointy sticks just does, just gets right through there. So.
That's exactly it. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a very Tolkien-esque commentary on technology.
Good stuff. All right. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Win. Always a pleasure and so much fun to hang out with you guys talking Android each and every week. Thank you to JR for giving us his Android intelligence. And usually in app form every week, androidintel.net/twit. Thanks to Victor and Burke, who might be in here, but it might just be Victor. And then
it's
Burke's,
just me.
And then Burke's in another room listening, and we'll put in some comment in Slack. But thanks to you both. Couldn't do the show without you two. You can find me at Jason Howell on Twitter, twit.social/@JasonHowell on Mastodon. Tech News Weekly every Thursday, twit.tv/TNW with Micah Sargent. And that's about it for me. Don't forget about Club Twit. Of course, this is the way that you can support everything that we do here at Twit directly. And we appreciate when you do that. It's just a really wonderful way to get more value. You get more from us. And then you're also giving directly to us. So it's awesome all around. Club Twit has ad-free shows. So all of our shows, no ads. You get our exclusive Twit Plus podcast feed, tons of shows that you don't get outside of the club, and just a lot of other, interviews and extra content that we put in there. And then the members only Discord. It's all for just $7 a month. And yeah, you just go to twit.tv/clubtwit. You can find out all the information that you need to hop on board, be a member of the club, and more than 2 years strong at this point. So things are going well with the club. I can't believe it's been already a couple of years, but there we go. As for this show, you can find everything you need to know at twit.tv/AAA, including our amazing hero image up at the very top. Every time I look at it, it puts a smile on my face. Twit.tv/AAA. Go there, subscribe. That's the most important thing. Please subscribe. That is the best signal to us and to our sponsors and everyone else who might be sponsors in the future that we are doing something right. So twit.tv/AAA. And we hope that you'll subscribe if you haven't already. And that's it. We'll go ahead and end it here. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time on All About Android. Bye, everybody. Oh, yeah.
Alrighty.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am Ant Pruitt, and I am the host of Hands-On Photography here on Twit TV. I know you got yourself a fancy smartphone, you got yourself a fancy camera, but your pictures are still lacking. Can't quite figure out what the heck shutter speed means? Watch my show. I got you covered. Want to know more about just the ISO and exposure triangle in general? Yeah, I got you covered. Or if you got all of that down, you want to get into lighting, making things look better by changing the lights around you. I got you covered on that too. So check us out each and every Thursday here on the network. Go to twit.tv/hop and subscribe today.